Alright, let's go into the basement where the laundry and the wood burner happen. Private property, no trespassing, because we have so many treasures that we need to protect. Oh, it's not even locked. Alright, let's turn on the light here. Now, if we wanted to get really fun, we could actually go into the garages, but I don't really feel like going through all of that. Let's take a look at... Oh, here's another piece of... This looks like maybe a lawnmower or rototiller. I don't really know. Here's some more junk. I don't know what any of that shit is. Tools, a homemade bench, a door to a car. So if you find a car that's missing a door, well, we have one. Maybe we'll put it on eBay or something. I don't know. But I don't think we really get rid of things. We just acquire more. Here is a wood burner, because my father's crazy and doesn't really associate with the family, so he likes to actually stay down here and start up his wood burner. Yeah, it's amazing we've never set this place on fire, because he's usually drunk. He drinks about 24 to 30 beers a day. Yeah, he could put a lot of you beer pongers to shame. Oh, here's a little electric box that isn't even covered. That's cute. I was always afraid to go down here as a kid because you can see the underside of these rafters or whatever the fuck they are that hold the trailer up are a little bit cobwebby. Alright. Hard hats, don't know what we need that for. That's actually the oil, this bin here, for the oil heating. Which is the standard. Keep in mind we don't have natural gas out here. Nobody would run the lines. Here's an old table. I think this is what my father watches TV on down here. You can see the cable coming down. I think he just put a hole in the floor to bring it down. Why not? Here's an old bench with laundry things. Now, we've always had old wringer washers. This is another hoarding, antique-y, whatever the fuck thing. My father kind of likes to live like he's Amish, so he would prefer not to use any modern things and likes to go back to the good old days of wringer washers. My grandfather also used these things, even though they've had normal washers too. If you've never seen them in action, they're actually two rollers here. They look like two rolling pins. I wish I could turn this on without, like, probably cutting my fingers off. But, you put your clothes through these pins after you've washed them, and it actually wrings them out. It squeezes them really tightly between two rolling pins, so that they're drier or gets the water out, so you can put them on the clotheslines. Okay, why not have a thermometer in your basement? Sure. What else do we got here? I don't know what this is for. What could he be building? I see seahorses or seesaws or whatever the fuck those things are called. Seesaws? That's not it. Well, you know what the fuck they are. The little, like, frame things that hold things up. I swear to God, I'm close to what it's called. Let me just turn the lights off before we go up to the main part of the house. Right. I'm not going to bother locking that because, you know, we live in basically population nothing, so I highly doubt anyone's going to come out here to steal a fucking whatever the fuck in our basement. Right. Lovely little sidewalk. You can see we maintain it really well. This is actually abnormal because usually my father does landscape like crazy because he has bipolar disorder and just goes on like rampages of doing things. Barbecue grill. Old charcoal barbecue grill. I don't know why we have that. Why not have a vintage soda machine? It doesn't work, but it looks lovely on your porch. Alright. Where are we getting? Elect Joshua Lamal District. I don't know what district because it's cut off. I don't know why we have that. I don't know if we were supporting that candidate. Here's another thermometer. My father likes to know about temperatures and things. Here's some earth options, flying insect killer and whatnot. An old wind chime that I believe has been there for about 2 decades, if not more. Tiki torches. Bunch of old chairs, a soccer ball, even though my sister's the only person who's ever played soccer, and she was only here briefly before she moved as far away as she could get herself. That's a little wind chime. I'm sure my grandmother bought that. I don't think my father would. Okay. Let's see if I can turn a light on to further illuminate this. Here is the door to our crib. I don't know why we would need to have the numbers on here. Who actually comes to the door? Here's a window with Jim's Custom VW sticker and Buy American, Buy Union. Caution! If you trespass on these premises, watch for flying objects. They contain lead. Ha ha ha. Battery operated doorbell. Does it work? Oh no, I think it's out of batteries. Probably has been for a decade. Here's the lovely window curtains in the ceiling. Here is one of our trash bins. Usually there would be two. There would be your two paper bags beside each other. Because I buy trash bins, we can use papers. These rugs have probably been here since before my grandmother lost her mind. This one has definitely been here since I was a child, if not before. I think this was here before I was born. Oh Lord, let's just do a little pan view of the place before we get into it. Alright, alright, alright. As you can see, we keep our kitchen maintenance like really on top of that. Lovely, lovely. Beautiful dining room table. As you can see, we entertain a lot here. A lot of formal dinners. There's some kind of vintage clock thing. I think it lights up with neon, actually. Let's turn that on. That's fancy. Does it work? Maybe it's not plugged in. I don't feel like reaching down there. Normally it'd be a beautiful neon if you turned it on. An old calendar. See a guardian angel. And a picture from when my grandmother went to Universal Studios with my aunt, who was maybe killed by the mafia. We don't know. That's my grandmother in a mobility scooter. She actually hit 3 people while she was in, Florida. That was exciting. Alright, let's get down to it. Let's start with the living room. So these curtains have been here since before my grandmother went crazy, maybe by years. This picture of Niagara Falls that is, I believe, a painted velvet. That has been here since, actually maybe it's not Niagara Falls, maybe it's just a picture, but it reminds my grandmother of Niagara Falls, which for whatever reason she loves. It's painted velvet. That has been here since, I would say, at least the early 80s, probably the 70s or before. Here's some mirrors, a lovely chair. Here's a coffee table just covered in things, everything from suntan lotion to more mirrors and creams, paper cups, a DVD of Barnyard Friends. I don't know what the fuck that's for. Let's see. Oh, there's some of my junk. You can't even notice. This Afghan was made by my great-grandmother, as all of our Afghans have been. Although sometimes she would mess up and accidentally call them Africans. I don't know what this painting is, and I don't know what this note is all about. Boat Salvage Yard, Cedar Key, Florida Prince by Clyde Greenwood. Oh! Actually, this is kind of cute. And sweet. My mother works as an activities director for an old age home. So there's actually a very, very old man who's in love with her. He's about 87 years old. That painted her this picture. He's a really good painter. Although my mother thinks that he's not that great and gets kind of into fights with him because my mother also paints. Here's an old picture of Last Supper. I wish I had better lighting in here to give you a better contrast. That is a mirror above. So you can fix your hair while looking at Jesus. Here is a stained glassy type thing. Oh, here's my sister in like 3rd grade. I don't know why a picture would be behind a picture, but why not? Here is a stained glass picture that our Pakistani neighbor, shortly after my father went crazy after tape recording our actually nice house with a pool in northern Maryland, we moved out of that so that my father could transfer back here. But in the meantime, we had to stay in a townhouse. And while we were doing that, we lived beside Pakistani neighbors, and she stained glass and made us food a lot. It's fun. Here's another stained glass made by our Pakistani neighbor, Rubina. We never found out what her husband's name was because my parents are kind of retarded and don't really know how to pronounce things and kind of gave up and just referred to her as Rubina's husband, or him as Rubina's husband. Here's an iron, an ashtray, an old cassette. I don't know what we have an old cassette for or why we wouldn't throw it away, but maybe it has something important on it. A VHS of The Frog Prince, which was actually one of my favorite movies as a kid, but we didn't have the VHS, like, purchase copy. We just taped it off of TV. Some kind of jewelry box for my mother's treasures. Another alarm clock. I don't know why you'd need two in the living room. Let's see. Trash of some sorts. That's hoarding. An old wicker chair that my grandmother had bought. Here's a picture of us as a kid. Here's me. Here's my sister, my grandfather, my grandmother. My aunt and uncle who moved really far away to Idaho and tried to disassociate themselves with the family. My cousin. My uncle with the mafia family. My aunt that might have been killed by his mafia family. My mother, my Uncle George, and my father. Alright, more old curtains. Now, this is probably part of some kind of, like, reduce, reuse, recycle plan. But why would you waste money and trees and particle board and all that on a TV stand when you can just put your new TV on top of your old TV that doesn't work anymore? Here's an old air conditioning. Still works, praise the Lord. Here is just a pile of clothes and towels and shit on top of a couch. That Afghan actually wasn't made by my great-grandmother. This is actually the other side of my family, my father's side of the family that owned this lovely abode. So my grandmother bought this probably from Bingo or something. I highly doubt that that comes from my great-grandmother. Here's another painting of the Last Supper. Now, my parents aren't religious. They've just left this all up in the house because my grandmother had it up. Even my grandmother wasn't really that religious, though. She was never, like, obsessed with it or anything. She just went. Ironing board. Clothes and shit. A beautiful mirror in this living room. Oh, you can see me. My little Italian cousins. People don't think I have Italians in my family, but whatever. What do we got here? Yeah, that. This kind of reminds my mother of, like, I Dream of Jeannie, this bottle here, so that's why we have this. Literally, that's the only reason why she purchased it. Now, only one of the lights on the mirror work. I don't know why we wouldn't replace those, because replacing the light bulb is really simple, but you see the state of the house. An old smoke detector, I doubt that works. And this is how my mother hangs her clothes, since she doesn't really have a way of getting to the closet with all of the junk. Now, these are my grandmother's knickknacks. These are precious treasures. Oh, here's some Halloween stuff, because my mother's obsessed with it. Alright, let me see if I can get around these clothes to take pictures of the knickknacks. Now, my grandmother has always drank red rose tea. And if you didn't know, red rose tea contains little knickknacks, like little animals, in every packet. And she used to save, like, hundreds of them. I don't know if any are left in here. Maybe my parents actually did throw something like that out. Bet we can find one. Oh, no, we can't. I'm sorry. Alright. Old phone books. Even though most people would just use the internet or something, we actually don't. We still use phone books. My father probably doesn't know how to use the internet, and my mother, here's some seeds and a tape measure. You would have easy access to all of this. Spark plugs or something? Some kind of car thingy. A super ball. I don't know what you'd need that for, but maybe like a stray cat would come around. You need to play with that. You want to keep that out. You don't want to put that away. Binoculars. Now, my father is fucking crazy and likes to spy on things, and he also puts tape recorders around. I think I might have explained already that we actually ended up here because my father caught my mother cheating by putting tape recorders all throughout the house when he'd be on business trips. Here is like a gold, I'm sure it's not gold, but metallic copy of the 10 Commandments. Thou shalt not have any other gods before me, blah, blah, blah. Here's a rooster. I don't know what these are, some kind of candle holder. Lovely. What that is. That's cute, I guess.